Hello there everyone, Simon here with another episode of Tales of the Underworld, episode number 2, which is going to be another Asajj Ventress episode, and of course in that first episode we got a bit of backstory in terms of what happened to Asajj between the events of Clone Wars and Bad Batch Season 3, which is where we next saw her. We got an answer to, did they retcon Dark Disciple? Which no, they didn't. You know, she still died, she still fell in love with Quinlan Vos. They took her back to Dathomir, and she was resurrected, you know, through Dathomiri magic. Again, I'm kind of a little, not confused, but I'm lacking in motivation for Asajj Ventress, because the cost of her coming back is her heart's desire, which, you know, we would presume is Quinlan Vos. So either she wouldn't get to be with him, she would no longer feel love for him, and she took that decision pretty quickly to come back. And then all that she seems to have done in that first episode is lived a quiet life as a hermit, a bit like Obi-Wan in the Kenobi series. And so, you know, my brain works in the way that it always wants at least a base motivation for characters. Like, what drives characters to do something, to live, to you know, survive? And so with Asajj Ventress, it's like, okay, well, she's not going to seek revenge, she's not going to seek out Quinlan Vos, she's not going to, you know, seek to use her skills to, you know, create an underworld empire for herself, like Boba Fett might do. She's just going to live a quiet life. Which, I mentioned this, I said, why come back to life at that point? You know, it seems fairly peaceful in the realm of the, you know, the nether world of the Force, as they call it. So that's kind of the only little thing I was like, okay, well, are they just doing that just because they've now decided to bring her back and they didn't want to retcon Dark Disciple? But obviously they couldn't come up with a really expansive idea in terms of how she got resurrected, because these are already 15-minute shorts. Who knows? But obviously we got the little kind of mini arc of her helping the young Padawan, and I'm guessing that that's going to be the journey now, is her trying to find the path with whoever this young Padawan is. We saw the Inquisitor fight. Interesting design on the Inquisitor. Again, it was clear from the beginning he wasn't going to survive, because he's not in later, you know, installments where other Inquisitors are. So we're going to jump into the second episode. So why don't we watch again? It's going to be another short one, I think. So let's watch episode number 2. Looks very similar to that planet that we saw in Kenobi in the second episode. The one that felt a bit like Star Wars Hong Kong. Wonder if this is the same place.
You're not concerned about my safety. How do I know the minute we find the path you're not going to kill me?
Good point. That's something that she would have
If
done.
I wanted to kill you, you'd be dead already.
That is also a good point.
It's not funny.
She is an assassin.
Why should I trust you?
Because I saved your life. I'm looking for someone specific.
Who?
Can't be Quinlan.
You already know who.
Oh, it must be Quinlan then.
Quinlan Vos?
Yeah.
Why are you looking for him anyway?
You
None
can't
of
have
your
him.
business.
Mother tells and said no.
Alright, so what's the play?
Just stay focused.
No, tell me, how do I act like a Jedi?
Well,
Is
you
that a
sound
droid with
like a
2
Jedi.
guns in the background? I thought there was a droid with 2 pistols. Yeah. Oh. Oh, yes. Okay, I like the designs of these guys. I love the droid design is very much like a High Republic kind of design. Guessing that that's a bounty droid.
Well, that's a shame.
Yes, the loss of life is always tragic.
No,
Okay.
because he's worth more alive.
Yeah, the Dalai Lama over here.
Droids are expensive.
But I'm less maintenance.
Yeah, what about him? Your droid up for it?
The name is Lyco.
Lyco.
Like
Okay.
You up for it?
So new character,
I'm up for anything.
Good.
which is
Get this thing on board.
probably the best way to do it.
Empire's got a shipyard on Cassaro where they're assembling components for some kind of new starship. We're going to intercept as they transport it from their production line to the assembly.
Is this going to be for the...
It won't be easy.
Yeah,
to
it's an
sneak in
Imperial
there.
class.
Those Venators have quad-range detectors. Need
So
to
this
fly
is
low
in
and jam
the
their sensors.
immediate years
New
after
starships, huh? Well,
the end of the
that
Clone
shouldn't be a
Wars.
problem if we scramble our signature. Why don't you help me with that?
Because the ISDs only come in I mean, there's an ISD, to be fair, in Bad Batch Season 3. But that's like the first one, I think.
Clone would know about Venator range detectors.
Yep, that's one of the shield bubbles. And there they are.
Okay, wait, what? Aren't they your friends?
You don't have friends.
You have no friends.
You have acquaintances, colleagues, and occasional lovers. Oh man, that's... I thought that was like a bug droid or something. That was
Copy that.
their droid.
Standing by.
Oh, that's so cool. He moves a bit like Grievous. Gives a bit of a sense of size and scale for Star Destroyers when you think about one of those little bulbs on top. It's actually huge. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a creepy looking droid. Oh, it's a really beautiful set piece, the background with the illuminated... Oh, that Stormtrooper, you know what? He took a shot to the heart and he still tried. Gotta give him credit for that. But yeah, no, the illuminated Star Destroyers in the background. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. Dun 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 dun. Oh. Yeah. Bad luck. Oh, there's a lat. It's kind of crazy seeing stormtroopers on a lat. What is this? Okay, yeah. Yep. Like that. Everyone needs some kind of an assassin droid.
We've lost the device. We're coming out.
She's gonna leave him. Well, I thought she was gonna try and leave him.
Plan. Get the Jedi.
Oh no, this is their backup plan.
The hatch.
Well, that droid was cool while he lasted. Is it going to be on the planet that we see in Kenobi?
Well, are you gonna tell me what's on it?
Sure. I trust you.
We get it. You're friends now. Where are they going? Okay, so yeah, kind of. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed a lot of elements of this episode. You know, mostly like the locations. That droid did she call Lance? I think that was his name. I don't know, but that droid was. I love the design. Like a mix of like High Republic kind of Aztec Mayan style design with some inspirations of like IG-88 or IG-11 in the way that, you know, he moved, and General Grievous as well. Like, I can really dig those kinds of, you know, bounty droids, assassin droids. That's what they really should be like. They should be creepy. You know, you could have like a proper horror story just based around a droid like that, who just gives off such an inhuman kind of vibe. And again, that set piece of the Imperial class Star Destroyers being constructed, you know, in the dark, being illuminated, this big kind of shipyard. It was really, really cool to see that kind of a set piece, and it gives us an inkling as to what time period this roughly is, and it's not too long after the Empire actually takes over, because again, ISDs, as we saw in Bad Batch Season 3, starts coming to use, you know, about just after a year into after the Clone Wars, because I think Tarkin's ISD is the first one that we see show up in that show, and again, mass production is a big thing with the Empire at this point, so they're all there being developed and being constructed. Again, the theme of the episode was friendship, obviously, you know, learning to trust. What was his name? It began with an L. But he's not a character that we know, which is, again, I think a good thing. It's good to have newer characters established. If it was someone that we knew, it's kind of like, okay, what are the chances they'd run into each other? You know? So, again, it was a fun episode. The theme, very obvious. You know, again, I wouldn't say there was anything kind of overly intelligent about the writing here, which I guess isn't necessarily the point. It's about, I guess, giving an insight into the background. But I always think to myself, like, Tales of the Underground, I'm thinking about mob bosses, I'm thinking about bounty hunters, I'm thinking about people who are criminals. And yes, that has applied at points to Asajj Ventress. But I mean, at this point, she is just a rogue force user. She's not really, like, part of the Underground. I guess if you were to say, well, the Underground actually refers to the Path, you know, then okay, sure, that's one way of looking at it. But I think the Underworld is such a big aspect to Star Wars, you know, the Hutts, and especially with anyone who's played some of the most recent games, you know, like Outlaws, where there's a real heavy focus on some of the Underworld clans. You know, again, you got Crimson Dawn as, you know, an emerging syndicate at this point. I kind of was hoping we'd see something to build on those, because again, the games have done a real good job at introducing those, and we even see at points the Empire has created a syndicate to infiltrate the Underworld. That's kind of like what I would want to see, rather than us kind of like just expanding on the backstory of a character who isn't technically in the Underworld. She's from the Clone Wars, you know. Maybe I'm just being a bit moany today. I don't know. Am I? Am I being a bit too harsh on this show? I think maybe the experiences of previous shows are still carrying over, and it's kind of like I have certain expectations and I just see a bit of lost potential in these. So maybe I'm being harsh, I don't know. Let me know in the comments, but I'm going to go on. I'm going to watch the third one. So thank you for watching, and I will see you for the third episode.